Welcome back to the channel. My name's Travis, and in today's video, we're going to be covering the basics of personal finance, all the way from budgeting to saving to investing. And so if this topic interests you, I'm creating a series, so make sure you subscribe below to see the rest of the videos. With that being said, this video is going to be geared towards students specifically. A lot of these personal finance tips and tricks you don't learn in school, so I wanted to help everybody, especially if they're looking to start off at a younger age. Step one in managing your personal finances is to create income. And as a student, it's challenging to figure out, how do I get money? How do I start making money while balancing school? And so some different ways are going to be part-time jobs, stuff like babysitting, dog walking, like WAG is an example of a company that helps with that. Freelancing, so some freelance website examples are going to be Fiverr and Upwork, where they match you with clients depending on what you want to do. So stuff like web design is an option, social media management is an option, and these are all things that you can do part-time while you're in school. Once you have income, or once you figure out how you want to start developing your income, that money is going to have to funnel into something called a checkings account. If you're under 18, you're going to have your parents open one up for you. That's called a custodial account. And essentially what that means is, because you're not technically an adult, your parents are going to have to help manage that money with you. And if you're older than 18, as in an adult in the US, you can open up a checkings account all on your own. Super easy to do, takes 10 minutes. At any large bank. And so your first stop in terms of your money coming in is going to be into a checkings account. And so with a checkings account, this is where your money starts, but it is not where your money ends. There are two mistakes that a lot of beginners make when they first open up a checkings account. I've definitely made both of these. One is when you have overdraft fees. So if you use your debit card and you accidentally spend over the amount that you have in your bank account, in your checkings account, you're going to be charged a fee. That fee can vary between $20 to $50. That definitely adds up. Number two is something called a minimum account balance. Sometimes these banks will make you at least have $300 in there in order to not charge you additional fees on top of that. Now that we covered where your income should flow into, which is into a checkings account, we're going to be covering the basics of budgeting. These rules apply to anyone globally, so just keep that in mind. Feel free to share it if this is helpful for you. But 50-30-20 rule. That is a rule made popular by Elizabeth Warren. I follow the same structure when it comes to my budgeting. Not to the penny, of course, but it is very important to start, in the beginning at least, visualizing your personal finances so that you don't overspend in a certain category. What that 50-30-20 rule is 50% of your monthly income will go into stuff like your needs. If you think about things that are mandatory in your life right now, stuff like rent, groceries, Wi-Fi, 30% of your monthly income should then be considered for wants. And so stuff like wants would be like a Netflix subscription, things that you don't necessarily need in order to live month to month. You know, eating out, I would put that in that category as well. And then the last category is going to be the remainder, and that's going to be focused on saving and investing. So I wanted to give you some tips on how to start negotiating and how to start limiting your budget and making sure that it's optimized for you. Call your provider if you feel like your bills are really high and negotiate. You can just say, I've been with this company for X amount of years. I've found from other competitors that they can offer X price. Can you match that? A lot of the times they'll match it. They want to keep you as a customer, and so they'll cut down as much as they can for you. So here's some cool tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years in order to cut my budget, aside from just negotiating my bills. One is to unsubscribe in your email. I know that in your email inbox right now, you probably have stuff from Zara or Gap or whatever company that you purchase from, and you put in an email in their website, and now you're getting spammed with all of their stuff. It's really easy to fall into their marketing trap of like, oh, there's something on sale right now, I'm gonna go buy it, even if you don't necessarily want it. On the bottom of every single of their marketing emails, they'll have an unsubscribe button that's super small, so I just Control F and then find it and just click it, and you're off that email list forever. I also use an app called Rakuten. It's a great way to get cashback rewards. Essentially, you just shop at the normal brands that you shop at and you get cash back. And you get $30 to start off with a referral code linked in the description. Not sponsored by them, but that's just my personal referral code if you need it. Now we're gonna be covering credit cards. So essentially the difference between a credit and a debit card is a credit card will help you build your credit. It is not linked to your checkings account. So with a debit card, it's linked to your checkings account, so it's pulling out money that you already have. With a credit card, you're getting that money from a company, so I view it as a month-long loan. You wanna make sure that you pay off your monthly credit card bills in full. You don't want to just pay the minimum balance, so you don't have to pay the company what we call interest. And credit cards are notoriously known for high interest rates, but if you pay it in full, you're not going to have to pay that. And I don't use my debit card at all anymore. You build your credit score, and that score is a number to help lenders figure out how trustworthy you are. So when you buy a car or buy a house, they're gonna need that score. The higher it is, the better. Another reason why I use it too is there's so many rewards. You don't get any rewards when you use a debit card, but when you use a credit card, you're able to get cash back rewards. You're able to get travel points sometimes. So for example, I'm flying, domestically and all these other things, and a lot of my flights are free because I've been using these credit cards for such a while now. Now we're gonna move to the topic of savings. This is super interesting because the biggest mistake that I made before learning about personal finances is I kept my savings and all of my money in a checkings account, in a normal checkings account. The reason why you don't want to do that is because your money in there does not grow at all. So again, we covered that your income should flow into a checkings account, but it should not stay there. You should be moving it and optimizing your money in such easy ways. You would automatically think savings account. I'm just gonna open up the savings account right under the checkings account, and that's it. Don't do that. There's something called a high yield savings account. This is an online bank where you can put your money in and they'll pay you every month for just having your money in there. You can withdraw anytime. There are really no drawbacks because it exactly just works like a savings account. It's really easy to use and open up. Just make sure that whatever high yield savings account that you open up, also abbreviated as HYSA, is that it's FDIC insured. This is a great way to have your emergency fund, and your emergency fund is gonna be 3 to 6 months worth of your rent and your food. You don't have to build it out immediately. You just can slowly add in every month into this new savings account. $50, $100, but you wanna make sure you have some padding. The last part of this video, I really wanted to cover retirement and investing. And you're probably thinking, I'm just a student right now, or I'm in my mid-20s or early 30s, whatever the case is, why am I thinking about retirement so early? The answer to that is because in order to retire, you can have one of two accounts. There's something called a 401k or a Roth IRA. A 401k is with your employer, and you can get matching programs with that. So highly suggest you check that out with your employer and open one up as soon as possible to start saving your money for retirement. The cool/key thing here is to confirm with your employer, so whoever you're working for, if there is a 401k match. And so essentially that is free money that your employer will help match with how much you're putting in. Investing is not day trading, it is a long-term strategy. And that's why you should really start thinking about retirement now, even if you're just a student, because the longer that you have with your money in the market, the more it will grow in a compounded way. On average, a lot of these index funds, which we'll cover what those are in a second, grow around 8 to 9% every year. With a Roth IRA, the difference is when you put money in, you have to select your investments. With a 401k, it's automatic. But with a Roth IRA, it's not a savings account, so you don't just put money in and it will grow automatically. Once you put it in, you have to figure out what you want that money to do. Do you want to put it in an index fund? Do you want to put it in a stock? My personal preference is I invest it in index funds because it's safer. If you don't know already, a stock is a sliver of a company, so it's a small portion of a company, and you can buy publicly traded company stocks. So stuff like Amazon or Apple, you can buy one share of that. With an index fund, you can view it as essentially a basket of stocks. So once you put money in your Roth IRA account, you would have to choose your investments, right? And so some people do stocks and some people do index funds. Index funds are safer because it's diversified. It has a lot of different stocks in there. So if you want to see what I'm investing in, drop a comment below, let me know. And if you have investments in something that's in a tax advantaged account, let me know too. Here's a quick recap. 1, you're gonna need a source of income in order to start managing your personal finances, right? And it's gonna flow into that stream, and you're gonna have to figure out where to put your money to optimize it in the best way possible. So that money is first gonna start off in a checkings account, which you can open up yourself if you're 18 and up. If you're not, you go through your parents to open up a custodial account. Once your money's in a checkings account, you do not wanna keep it there. You wanna be able to put it in different accounts or investments to start growing your money. And 2, budgeting. So you don't have to necessarily have to have a strict budget. You wanna be able to live life, enjoy life, but it's very important to start visualizing where your money's going, how you're spending your money. Are you overspending in certain areas? Can you easily cut down in certain areas? 3, credit cards. So we covered the differences between a debit and a credit card. So essentially a debit card just pulls it from your checkings account. You can get overdraft fees by pulling out too much by accident, and stuff like that. And with a credit card, there are a lot of pros and some cons. And so the benefits of a credit card is cash back rewards, travel points, and most importantly, building your credit. The key thing for a credit card is to pay it off in full every month. And then we also covered savings. You don't just want to save your money in a normal checkings account or a normal savings account. You want to put it in a high yield savings account in order for you to start maximizing your money. I don't put all of my savings in here. What I do is I put my emergency fund in here. So again, emergency fund is 3 to 6 months worth of your rent, your groceries, things that you absolutely need to live. And then the last topic that we covered was around retirement and investing. I'm gonna go do deeper dives in future videos, but essentially, even as a student, you wanna think about retirement as soon as possible because, the earlier that you start investing, whether that be for retirement or just investing in general long-term, is that you'll get something called compound growth. Make sure that you subscribe below if you wanna see more of this series. If you wanna learn more about something else that I didn't cover in this video, drop a comment below. With that being said, if you're interested in learn more about investing and the basics of investing, not specific to retirement, but just, how do I start investing in stocks? What's the difference between that and an index fund, and cover more details about that, make sure you check out this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.